We'll start with one that's pretty big on the money trail. 2 years, $40 million. Merrill Kelly. Ken Rosenthal reported that he had an offer for 3 years, 50 plus from a West Coast team, he heard, but he did the math and said it's probably a team in California. Merrill wanted to go back to Arizona. He was vocal about that. If they were able to find a way to get him in a range that he was good with, plus Ken mentioned this, cost of living, taxes, whatever, you start to do the math. Arizona was the fit. Merrill Kelly helps a rotation that desperately needed to replenish itself with someone who just was traded away.
Yeah, I mean, you can't not like this signing. I think Merrill Kelly and the Diamondbacks, especially towards the end of his career, I love the fact that he will most likely finish his career here. I love the fact that he doesn't need to go somewhere else to prove, hey, this is what I did in Arizona. And I felt like he made a few tweaks in the last, I would say, 3/4 of this past season that I think kind of took him to the next level, when at his age, people will kind of say, you know what, he's probably going to decline a little bit. I love the fact that he revamped his career, came back over here after pitching in Japan, and has had success with the Diamondbacks. And I think this 2-year deal, while it wasn't a slam dunk because clearly he had big offers from elsewhere, I felt like it was pretty much like, this is the guy. If you were going to say Zach Gallen or Merrill Kelly coming back, I felt like Merrill Kelly was by far a better chance of coming back. And I think the Diamondbacks are still a good team, even when you hear Ketel Marte could be traded. And if he is traded, I think they still fill in with a Jordan Lawler. So I love that they still solidified your 32 starts a year, and $20 million a year for a starter that's qualified, easy money.
Yeah, he doesn't throw hard, right? I mean, he's
Nope.
low 90s with the fastball velo. He actually gets a lot of chase for what he
That,
brings to the table. I mean, he's unpredictable, and I think the world saw what he was about in the World Series, or just in the playoff run for them, I should say, in 2023, and he's really carried the success. You're right. I mean, he ain't young, but he's still got it. And he was actually throwing a little harder, I think, halfway through the year, and carried that out. But man, he had a great year. I mean, he hits his spots.
the chase is the part that I think has increased for him, because he throws that little, he's a guy that goes, 92 cut, 92 sink, 92 cut. Now he's been able to get that extra tick with velocity, but now you don't know if that extra spin is going to be that cutter, or if it's going to, something that's going to break farther off, and that's where he gets that chase, because you're not getting stuff middle from him. It's edges, and then he expands off those edges. He does a great job of tunneling without it being 99 hammer off of that. He's really come into his own, which you expect veteran pitchers to do. And I think I like this signing for the Diamondbacks.
All right, next up, the Detroit Tigers added Kyle Finnegan the other day, and now, well, not added, they brought him back, right? They traded for him at the deadline. He was pretty good for them, up the splitter usage. We talked about that the other day. Now add Kenley Jansen to the mix in his chase for 500 career saves, and also to be part of a team that should be in the playoff hunt. 1 year, $11 million club option for 2027. I actually was surprised about the club option part, just because it's Kenley, and I think he does want to end up back on the West Coast, and he's looking for the best deal in the best situation right now. But they actually can get him for 2 years. If he puts together what he did this past season, they'll probably keep him.
Yeah, and you're not getting Kenley of the 2010s, but you are getting Kenley, the closer, and that role is solidified. Kenley Jansen wants to get to his 500. That's what you said, right? 500 saves? Yeah, it's 476 right now. He wants to get there. 24 saves after having 29 last year. Like, he knows he needs to be on a team that wins, and I think he knows that the Tigers can win. He's going to strike out about 1 per inning. So you like that number. Obviously, the Tigers do need more strikeouts, but when you have a solidified closer, somebody who's going to be in the closer role, it pushes everybody back a little bit. And I think it helps because you have for the most part, a pretty young bullpen. Now, Tommy Kahnle's gone. Kyle Finnegan's not that young, but you brought him back because you loved the doubling of his splitter usage, which they did coming over from Washington. To me, this helps any of those young guys, because they're going to have to continue to call on guys from their minor league system and guys that are currently in that bullpen because they haven't been able to dip in the water. I like this signing. He closes the game for you. There's very few actual closers still out there. There's guys who take the high leverage innings, but this is a closer, and he's going to want that situation. A 2.59 ERA. I like it. I'm on board with this. I'm on board with this for this team, and I think he'll have a little bit more success too. Larger field, the defense is there for them, so it is there for him because he's not just 100 strikeouts in 60 innings type of pitcher anymore.
Yeah, I mean, ERA is not the best stat for a
Nope.
reliever all the time, but 2.5 ERA plus was 165. Like the run prevention from him results were great. Yeah, he's not K Kenley anymore. He's Command Kenley. That's the thing. I mean, he's cut the walks down and the strikeouts go down, but he's finding other ways to get outs. That's what you do, and that's how you mature as a pitcher and stay in the league.
He's closer Kenley. I don't know that he's necessarily Command Kenley. He's closer Kenley, and ERA plus for closers. You have to take that as a. There's very few metrics that are good for closers because ERA, you can have a 4 ERA and have a ridiculous season because of a couple blow up games. Your ERA plus, there's some closers that have had like 300 ERA pluses. It's not as equal as it is to starting pitchers, but the biggest thing, because the save is an actual thing, the ninth inning is actually different than every other inning, regardless of what analytics says. To me, that's where the value is. And he's searching for a goal. He wants that 500. I think it's something that you've solidified a position. It's kind of like getting position players. Oh, this guy plays short, third, left field. He's going to bounce around to all three. It's like, well, did you really upgrade, or is this like an upgrade to the bench? It's like a bullpen guy. Kyle Finnegan, good closer, gets a lot of saves. Now he gets to bump back to the 8th inning, 7th inning, depending on where they're at in the lineup, and they get those good matchups because you have a solidified 9th inning guy.
Mm-hmm. Next reliever that goes. Look at the money for Tyler Rogers. 3 years, $37 million. No deferrals. The Blue Jays signed him. There's also a vesting option in there that can make this a 4-year, $48 million deal. It looks like they had the highest offer and they had the ultimate chip. They were like, we named the ballpark after you years ago in anticipation of this recruitment. And they won him.
I didn't even think about that. I like that. You made me LOL. You made me laugh out loud. I was actually there when Tyler Rogers got to be in the big leagues. 2019, I was with the Giants in their exhibition games. At the end, I wasn't there in spring training. And he didn't make the team. They were like, this guy has killed it in the minor leagues. Something people don't realize about Tyler Rogers is he killed the minor leagues for years and didn't make it up until he was 28 years old. And Bruce Bochy was like, oh, this guy, he really should make the team. And he was fortunate he was able to make his big league debut that year. And it's something that he has found a niche between staying healthy and being very unique. His velocity has not gone down, and teams that use him and his unique delivery to its fullest shows why he's getting a 3-year deal. Think about other relievers that have gotten 3-year deals. And he goes to the Blue Jays now, which I don't know if we have the graphic or not, but you go Trey Savage, who throws the highest release point, 7'1" or 7'2" in baseball, to Tyler Rogers, who throws the lowest release point in baseball.
Boom,
there we go. Yeah, perfect.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And
yeah, there are arm angle differences. They also picked up that guy Chase Lee over the weekend from the Tigers, who's pitched a little bit, and kind of a late bloomer, 27-year-old side armor. So clearly they're into different arm angles right now, Kratz.
Don't give hitters the same look twice. If you go Trey Savage to Tyler Rogers to Jeff Hoffman, like, you're getting so many different looks. Don't make your team all exactly the same, because big league hitters, even crappy 209 negative WAR hitters like me, can make an adjustment if you see the exact same thing over and over again. And the Blue Jays definitely are building that look in their bullpen. and their rotation. And I think there is so many huge benefits to that. But analytically, that might not always show up. But players will say, crap, like I was just getting in a groove facing this guy, and now we're seeing something from down there. Or we're seeing something from the left side coming at 3/4. It is something, and the Rays kind of started it before, getting all hands of the clock with a pitcher. It's just tougher and tougher for hitters to consistently square things up in a great American League East, and the Blue Jays keep pouncing while the iron's hot here.
Yeah, they love what just happened in October and they want a lot more of it and they're getting aggressive. And you got to appreciate that they're investing it right back into the team. Canada is just loving their offseason so far. And I think there's a lot more to go. All right, let's try and do 4 moves in 4 minutes. Ready? Danny Jansen up next, $14.5 million, 2-year contract. Texas Rangers let Jonah Heim go. They replace him right here. Also some smaller moves here, as you can see from Ken. Alexis Diaz, who used to be really good as closer for the Reds, and then lefty reliever Tyler Alexander. But here's your replacement, Danny Jansen, super solid.
Love that he got a 2-year deal. He's kind of been on the fringe kind of guy, and his ability to learn some new things receiving-wise when he went over to Milwaukee was kind of a role player. He'll get more burn. The combo of him and Higgy, Texas is still valuing that receiving, and they're still valuing what Danny Jansen can do and what Higgy can do. And I think it'll be, probably around an 80 game split. So they're essentially spending about $14 million, $13 million at the catching position, which if you look at other teams, they're going to spend that on a starting catcher. So good for the Rangers. And I think it's a good spot for them.
Mm-hmm. Next up, Dustin May, Sweeper City, going to St. Louis. Chaim Bloom making a move here to acquire someone that, if things work out, is a trade chip for you at the deadline.
Yeah, for sure. Get him to stay in the strike zone. Get him to harness all the things after a full offseason of health, because he's kind of gone through not just baseball health, but like physical health, like life things that he has found out that now he's getting back out on the mound last year. Can he have a full healthy offseason? The sky's the limit for a dude that throws that much variation on that sweeper slider and then the running sinker. I don't even call it a sinker, the runner in. It's just so hard to keep him in the zone. Can they figure out how to keep him in the zone? How can that catching core, the pitching coaches, the organization keep him in the zone for 15 games? And at the trade deadline, that would be a massive piece, because then he can make a huge contract in the offseason, which you thought he would have years ago when he first broke into the big leagues, and you were like, whoa, this dude is electric.
Yeah, we were like, this kid has it. But maybe a lower pressure environment too, just kind of do his thing and just rack up
Health.
starts. I don't know. Maybe
Health.
It doesn't make a difference. But yeah, health, that's true. But I mean, 25 appearances, 23 starts this past season. ERA was about 5. But we'll see. I mean, yes,
coming
health
off
was
of
for a while. Now you prove health. Now you get better.
Yes.
Right? Still young. Yeah. Okay. I like it. Josh Bell, 1 year, $7 million. Minnesota Twins, classic Twins move. This also further solidifies they're probably not trading their big boys. They're just going to do these little baby ads. And, Josh Bell's got pop. He's fine. He's there. He's actually getting up there now. I feel like we used to talk about Josh Bell back in that one first half he had where everyone was like, is this dude about to be an MVP? And, he's been an okay first baseman.
I mean, JB, I was there when he made his major debut with the Pirates, and they brought him up just for like a weekend, and he absolutely killed the Cubbies. Thought we were getting back in the race, and we were still like 10.5 games behind the Cubs. I think that was 2016, so that year ended up pretty well for the Cubs. But he's somebody that is always tinkering with his swing. He's always saying, it's just not good enough. And as a switch hitter, that's tough. You hope that the Twins, who have done a good job with some of their hitters, can help him and keep to it. But you know what? You're getting your solid veteran presence there at first base, and kind of like what we said about Dustin May. Maybe a trade chip. I think he would have been a trade chip this year at the first base position had he not gotten off to such a slow start. But he's always going to put together good at-bats, and it's always going to be a different looking swing. This dude works so hard at it. And when you change your swing that much, you always have a chance to have this like 3-month run where this dude's just unconscious because he hits from both sides of the plate. He never has a bad matchup.
Mm-hmm. Not a good defender, so maybe more DH time too with Minnesota, and they certainly have a spot there. I mean, below average defender, right? But
Yep,
above
yep,
average
yep.
bat this past season. So fine. That's where the Twins are going to play ball this offseason. And then lastly, I think we got to everything here from major league signings over the weekend. Amed Rosario bringing himself back to the Yankees, 1 year, $2.5 million, and they had talked about how they wanted to have this kind of platoon option. And clearly they had a little taste and they're like, cool, we like this. We like the versatility he brings. We like what we can do off the bench. And he can spell Ryan McMahon against left-handed pitching.
I like his energy. I'm not going to talk anything about physical on the field. I like what he brings. And some people might get pissed off about it, but sometimes the Yankees just like everyone just gets in line. Amed Rosario brings a little bit like he's on the bench. He's not playing that day. Somebody hits a big home run. He comes out of the end of the dugout, walks across in front. Some people are like, oh, it's too much for me. It's too. I love what he brings to this team. And he also is, he's still a decent player when he plays his role, when he's put in his role. But to me, I love that energy. I love that smile. And I love the fact that he's ready to go at any time to get that big at bat against a lefty for this team.